Sign up to Council's disaster and weather event warning system. Receive alerts about emergency news, severe weather events and other public safety alerts via SMS or email. Registering to the disaster messaging system is free. To register, visit Gladstone Regional Council's Region Watch website and click on the Register for Warnings button. Get ready, Gladstone. Take the steps to protect what's most important to you. Let's be better prepared and protected for emergencies and disasters.
Gladstone Regional Council are committed to fostering a proud, involved and engaged community. The Gladstone Regional Council Community Investment Program
Well, good morning. The time being 9 a.m, I declare open the general meeting for the Gladstone Regional Council for Tuesday, the 6th of June, 2023. We have no apologies, councillors, so we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the messages of condolence. Do we have any messages of condolence? No messages of condolence. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is prior notifications of conflicts of interest. There we go. And that may very well be a first. Excellent. No worries. Thank you, councillors. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the Mayor's statement on current issues. And firstly, I want to say thank you to our volunteers around the Gladstone region. We have recently been celebrating Volunteers Week, or Volunteers Month almost, and saying thank you to all our volunteers from across the region, not just those who volunteer at council facilities at the Art Gallery, Library, Botanic Gardens, Entertainment Centre or wherever else. It's our volunteers right across the region, whether they're in a sporting club, a community group, or SES, a volunteer organisation like that. We just have had the opportunity to say thank you, and I thank councillors for attending those events right across the region as well. It is obviously appropriate to thank our volunteers. Without them, our community wouldn't be as awesome as it is. Also, just recently, we held the Santos GLNG Mayor's Charity Ball at the Gladstone Entertainment Convention Centre. Now, we're still tallying the fundraising total from that weekend, but I'm assure you that our 3 local beneficiaries will be looking forward to the funds that have been raised there at the Santos GLNG Mayor's Charity Ball, and they are, of course, Zonta, the Animal Rescue Group, and the Turtle Rehabilitation Centre on Coin Island, who I'm no doubt will be very excited when we can finally announce that total figure raised. Also, just recently, we welcomed the Smith family to our Phillip Street Communities Precinct. The Smith family have been operating in the Gladstone region now for about 5 years, but they've actually set up now in our Phillip Street Community Precinct, which is the appropriate place for them to be located and to continue the good work they're doing with our local families and local schools across the region, particularly in there. I think it's Learning for Life is the name of the program, but certainly doing some great work and working with about 600 children across the Gladstone region to make sure that they have everything they need for their schooling. It's a fantastic organisation, and I thank the Smith family for setting up in our Phillip Street Community Precinct. EcoFest was on the weekend. Thank you, councillors who were able to attend. Thank you, Councillor O'Grady. I believe you were representing me at that function as well. And, of course, it's part of World Environment Day, and Councillor Glenn Churchill as well. Thank you, Glenn. And all other councillors who were able to attend. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but it's always a fantastic event at the Gladstone Tondoon Botanic Gardens. So thank you to everyone involved and for councillors who were able to attend that and represent council at that event. We also have some upcoming events. We have the National General Assembly of Local Government coming up in next week, which is in Canberra. Oh, the times are getting away, so it's going to be happening next week, which is where all 537 councils across the country come together and I guess basically unite and discuss issues that are relevant to local councils right across the country, whether it's Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales, Tasmania, Northern Territory, and basically put the issues that are affecting local councils right across the country to the federal government. And following that will also be the Australian Councils of Local Government, which is being organised by the Albanese Labor government as well. Tenham's High will be celebrating 25 years, their 25th anniversary. I'm sure that's wrong. That doesn't sound right. It seems it's longer than that. It says here 25th anniversary. I think that's incorrect, but anyway, I'll double check on that. Is it 25 years? There you go. Yeah, I went. No, that's right. I thought it was longer because I was at Tallua and it was more than 25 years ago, but there was no Tenham then. I certainly thought Tenham was a little bit later than that. But yeah, when I went to Tallua High, we had 4 buses from Boyne, 3 buses from Tenham, a bus from Awonga Dam and a bus from Barora and Miriamvale that came into our school at Tallua High, and I knew that Tenham started after that. I thought I'd been out of school a little bit longer, but perhaps not. Yeah, maybe I'm not that old at all. So that's Friday the 16th of June. There's a special assembly, and on Saturday the 17th of June, there's official celebration. So congratulations to the team at Tenham High, 25 years. It's a huge celebration. Certainly I thought you were a little bit older than that, but there you go. So congratulations to everyone there. And I'm sure all past students from Tenham High will be looking forward to coming back and enjoying a weekend of celebrations. Speaking of celebrations, we have the QCWA 100th year celebration for the Gladstone Port Curtis Division on the 19th of June as well. I know a number of CWAs across the region have been celebrating their 100th anniversary over the past few months, and it's now time for the Gladstone branch to have their 100th anniversary, 19th of June. The Sport and Active Living Festival that is coming up, or Active Living Expo, sorry, is coming up at the Phillip Street Community Precinct this weekend. It's the Sunday the 11th of June. That's for sporting clubs and organisations, fitness and wellbeing businesses to showcase what they offer in the Gladstone region. So that should be fantastic. And of course, later in that afternoon, we have an unlikely conversation with rugby league legend Darius Boyd, speaking about men's health awareness at that event as well. So I encourage everyone to get along and enjoy the Sport and Active Living Expo, the 11th of June at the Phillip Street Community Precinct. And of course, just recently also we held the First Nations Chamber of Commerce Expo, Chamber of Commerce and Industry Expo at the Gladstone Entertainment Convention Centre as well. Well done to Matthew Cook and to Joshua for organising that event there. It was a huge event and fantastic to see our new industries and our existing industries supporting our First Nations people and making sure that as the wealth is created across our region, everyone in our local community is included, and in particular our First Nations representatives in the Gladstone region. And well done, as I said, to Matthew and to Joshua for that event. Now for the very exciting part of the Mayor's statement is our award, our Economic Transition Roadmap Award. Now, for those who don't know, where is it here? I have it here. This is our Gladstone Region Economic Transition Roadmap 2022 to 2023. Josh is clicking on that. That is something we launched on about the 15th of November last year, and it's about setting our community up for the next 10 years to make sure we're well placed to deal with the change in our economy, the transition in terms of renewable energies, but supporting our existing industries and welcoming those new industries as well, making sure that we have learned from the lessons of the past of LNG, and we certainly appreciate our local industries in our local region, including the LNG industries, but we all know the pain that our community went through during that massive boom and that bust that followed. Well, this roadmap is something that council has put together in partnership with the Next Economy to make sure our Gladstone region is appropriately ready, prepared for the transition that is yet to come. And we are in the middle of as well. And so what we have been able to do is receive an award for that. We've been recognised by the Local Government Managers Association for an award, Excellence in Collaboration, because this is all about collaborating with our existing industries, our new industries, our local council, other levels of government, and our community as well. And there's the awards that were just recently held. And here's our award for our Excellence in Collaboration. So congratulations to Gary Scanlon and his working group team. They've done an amazing job. Here's the actual award as well. Amazing job in putting that together in collaboration with our community as well. This is fantastic. Our community, make no mistake, our community is going through a transition. The country is going through a transition. And this was at a time, we had this conversation when no one wanted to discuss renewable energies. No one wanted to talk about solar farms and wind farms and hydrogen, but our council had the foresight to be able to have that conversation with our community, have that conversation with our local industries, be prepared and get a document ready in place. Now, I can tell you that other local councils across the country and across the state are very envious of that roadmap, and some of them are looking at copying it as well, and we welcome that opportunity for them to do that. It's about our community being prepared for what is to come. And I'm very excited that it's received awards, and I'm very happy that Gary's hard work, the working group's hard work, and of course the work of the Next Economy has been rewarded with an acknowledgement award from the Local Government Managers Association. And we'll appropriately thank Gary and the team at morning tea this morning as well. So I'm not sure if Gary is bored enough to be watching the council meeting online, but if you are, well done, mate. You've done very well, and we certainly want to congratulate you for your hard work in earning that award with your team for the Gladstone region. Okay, councillors, that is the Mayor's statement on current issues. I just threw away my agenda, I need that. The next item on the agenda is the confirmation of the minutes, and G2.1.
So moved, Mr.
Thank you. Is the confirmation of the general meeting minutes for the 16th of May. Move Councillor Churchill. Seconded, please. Councillor Cameron. No business arising. We'll put them... Oh, hang on. Wasn't there a correction to the minutes?
Don't remember.
I thought there might have been a correction to the minutes. Oh, maybe not. Hang on, we'll come back to that. Can I hold that for a second? I think there might have been a request to correct something in the minutes. Was that from that meeting? It was, wasn't it?
Relating to?
There was something about one of the events issues. There was something that we not corrected, we just wanted it fixed in the minutes, I think it was. But anyway, I might hold that If that's okay, we'll do the minutes shortly afterwards. So I'll hold the mover and seconder for now. I'll write that down. It was Councillor Churchill
It might be longer than the agenda.
and the Councillor Cameron. I just remember there was something that we wanted to correct for the minutes, so we'll come back to that. Next item on the agenda is deputations.
Yeah.
No deputations, so we'll move to our officers' report. And the first officers' report is G4.1, the repeal of the uniform and PPE policy. And I'll hand over to the General Manager of Finance, Governance and Risk, Mark Holmes, and welcome Vicky Hankinson to the table as well. Thank you, Mark.
Morning, Mayor. Morning, councillors. Got Vicky Hankinson, our governance business partner here, that will take you through this policy and a couple of other policies that we've got for review today. So this is actually your uniform and PPE policy that has gone through a review process with the organisation. So the general consensus within this is that it is a policy that we can essentially manage within the business and probably doesn't need a essentially policy as such, and can be worked out within our corporate standards and our essentially administrative processes. It has gone through a substantial consultation process with our organisation, with certainly well over 140 submissions received across the business. So landed on a really practical working solution to work forward. But the proposal for this room is that we repeal that policy that's in place from 2019.
Thank you. Questions to the General Manager, please. Councillor Grady.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wondering, with this uniform policy, so some of the businesses within the business actually do their own shirts, for instance, reconciliation, for a reconciliation plan and whatever else. So I was just wondering, can you just explain how that actually fits in with this policy?
Yes, it's proposed to give the CEO delegation to authorise special additions to the uniform as appropriate. So our Indigenous print will actually be a permanent inclusion into the uniform items, but there are other specific needs that the CEO will consider from time to time. For example, our events team quite often need the long sleeve, sun-safe variation to our uniform, still in the corporate colours, but basically designed specifically for a sun-safe option for those people that are working outdoors on those events.
Thank you, and I must admit the shirts look fantastic at EcoFest, the outdoor shirts, they look great, and if anybody had any problem they could identify them, so I'm looking forward to the Reconciliation Action Plan ones coming too, actually, for our advisory group, so they're in a few weeks, so that's very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Grady. Councillor Muscat.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, and especially for the consultation and the work that's gone into that to make sure everybody got an input in this. And I'm also quite happy about the fact that we will make it into a corporate standard instead of a policy, so that will make it more flexible, so we can, I guess, respond to things that change quicker and more suitable, instead of having to review policies all the time, especially on these, that some things can change really quickly and we need to be more agile and flexible. I'm happy to move it if that will be okay.
Thank you. Move Councillor Muscat, seconded, please. Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Any further questions? I put the motion. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is G4.2, review of amenity and aesthetics policy. Back to you, Mark. And welcome, Tegan.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have our Acting Manager Development Services, Tegan McDonald, with us. They should be able to answer any questions we have with respect to this review. So this is our amenity and aesthetics policy that we had in 2018. There is some changes that we are recommending as part of this, based on some feedback we've had with the policy since we've been out working that. So the team will take you through those.
Thank you. Questions to Mark or to the Acting Manager, please? Councillor O'Grady.
Sorry, I do have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mark, I was just wondering, the amendment of wording shipping container railway carriage to relocatable storage structure. What if the people are actually living in those?
Thank you, Councillor. No, that's okay. Yep, so essentially, because if it's being occupied for habitable purposes. It wouldn't be a storage structure, it would be a Class 1A structure. So it would fall within a different definition we have in that same policy for relocatable 1A buildings. So you've got your 10As, which are your storage structures, your shipping containers, those types of things. But obviously, as the building market has changed, we're seeing a lot more of those habitable relocatable structures that currently wasn't really being captured properly in the A&A policy, and that's probably where most of the changes have sort of stemmed from.
Any further questions? Councillor Hanson.
I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Seconded, Councillor Branthwaite. Any further questions or comments? Okay, put the motion. All in favour? It's carried. The G4.3 is the review of the residential boundary relaxation policy. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this is again essentially the review of a number of policies that we adopted in 2018. So this is basically just taking on board some of that feedback we've had, particularly with some of those boundary relaxations for particularly those garages, carports and sheds and the like, as well as some single dwellings, and looking at what are those boundary relaxations and where we would consider those. So there's just some minor wording changes to that.
Thank you, Mark. Questions? No questions? No? Can I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Cameron. You would have dealt with a few of these over the years, no doubt? Yes. If you're happy, I think we should all be happy. Councillor Churchill, you happy to second? Excellent. Any further questions? I put the motion. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you, Tegan. Thank you, Vicky. The next item on the agenda is G4.4, which is the Gladstone Show Holiday 2024, and I'll hand back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Each year, Council is to nominate a preferred show holiday for the region, and in order to hit those timeframes for gazettal for the 2024 period, it's time for us to resolve that for the next calendar year. The proposal put forward by office is to continue with the show holiday being in alignment with the ECA holidays, and providing the Monday 12th of August as that holiday for 2024.
Fantastic. The Gladstone region's been very happy with their long weekend since we made that decision in Baffle Creek that day. Councillor Goodluck, you have a question? You happy to move it?
Oh, yeah, I was happy to move it.
Oh,
Thanks.
got a mover and a second, and Councillor Goodluck and O'Grady. No, we're not getting rid of it. Everyone loves their long weekend. They like a long weekend sometimes too, I'm sure. Any further questions or comments on this one? Okay, no worries. We'll put the motion. All in favour? Councillor Trevor, just want to be sure you're happy with that? Yes, I am. Thank you. The motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. And thank you, Mark. It's very well appreciated long weekend in the region, and for those online who are unaware, it was a decision made in Baffle Creek many years ago to give the community a long weekend based on community feedback in a survey, and the overwhelming majority of the community went for a long weekend. The next item on the agenda is councillors' reports. I'll come back to that. Yep, councillor reports. Councillor Hanson, you have a report?
Just want to mention that accommodation was very scarce here on the last weekend, because we had BAM, we had the Monarrabee Drags four-wheel drive, the biggest event of the year for the drags, a regional netball carnival, a regional Central Districts carnival for basketball and under-14s, Eco-Fest on Sunday, of course, which we've mentioned before, and the Gladstone Tennis Open. And have I missed anything?
Anderson's Auto City,
and Anderson's
70th,
Auto,
70th.
Yeah. So, yeah, GCC had a big event as well.
Yes, exactly. 450 competitors there.
So our volunteers, I'm sure, are running thin, and my congratulations would go to all of those people who volunteered on the weekend for what a great weekend, and setting Gladstone on the market there.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Hanson. I should have mentioned the Anderson's Auto City 70th birthday celebration as well this morning in the Mayor's statement. Congratulations to Les and Brad and the Anderson family, 70 years operating in our local community and still going strong. Good on them. Any other council reports? Councillor Muscat.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, it is, there's always really something on in Gladstone. For those ones that like to say that nothing happens here or there's nothing to do. On that also, we got the new winter events booklet, which I highly recommend, which has just been released. But I wanted to congratulate GAPDL and the Communities for Children and artist Nikki Johnson from the Gurungaran people for the publishing of this book. It was launched not last week, the week after, the week before, I believe, and it's been illustrated by Nikki, and it's going to be available in all of our libraries and a few other schools around the region. So just wanted to say congratulations. And yeah, well, keep doing it. It's got a lot of interesting content and educational content about language and about the Gurungaran culture and traditions. So congratulations.
Excellent. Congratulations, Councillor Churchill.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Matt. Some of us met recently with the National Emergency Management Agency, Noni Ryan, who's the support officer here in Central Queensland, and Heidi Carroll out of Canberra came up here to effectively look at how we were progressing with the funding that we received under the National Emergency Management Agency. I think it's over $2 million. And the three projects were the First Nations Fire Officer and Land Management Culture Burn. The other one was the Local Disaster Coordination Centre upgrade and the Miriamvale Community Centre upgrade. So in essence, we were able to provide them with an update. The other part of it was that they were able to go and observe at first hand a culture burn, which was held, I think, down at the Winery Trail. So Mark Holmes and be it other officers were available, including our Council's First Nations Fire Officer, Michael Wilmot, who is effectively leading up those cultural burns and the land management program as well. But in essence, it was an opportunity to give them an insight on what we're actually doing, that we're being efficient with the funding, that we're being effective to be able to create that model. And I think as you mentioned on something else there before, economic transition, I think this is just another prime example, and perhaps Mark might wish to make comment from the LDCC perspective, through you, Mayor Matt, and I think it would be appropriate because at the end of the day, other local governments are looking at what we're doing in relation to these cultural burns, because this is a first for Queensland in relation to this position, the role and the responsibility. And last but not least, if you were interested, the two officers from the National Emergency Management Agency will effectively be attending the Mount Larkham show on the 27th of May to talk to the Show Society about some funding that they've been successful in securing, and well done to the Mount Larkham Show Society for a community disaster recovery hub and animal refuge, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that at a later time. But with your permission, Mayor Matt, I think Mark, as a General Manager from the LDCC, and he was there firsthand to see all this happening, might wish to make comment too.
Mark?
Probably don't have a lot more to add, other than certainly supporting the fact that this, the Cultural Burn Initiative is certainly a Queensland first, and is certainly only one of a handful in the nation, and has been very well received through NEMA, and they're looking at how they can support that activity more broadly across councils. And certainly seeing the benefit coming from embracing those practices and looking at how we engage in terms of working even with a lot of our traditional rural fire brigades and the like, and what we're seeing is those practices merging, which is great to see. So that's an ongoing piece. NEMA provide funding for not only that, but also those couple of pieces of good infrastructure that will support the community in a disaster, particularly essentially our emergency shelter down at Miriamvale, and also in providing the support to our coordination centre here in Gladstone.
Yeah, and if I could just make a final comment in relation to the council being successful in receiving that funding, that was actually from the Black Summer Bushfire Recovery Grants program. So we've got the First Nations Fire Officer, we've got the upgrade of the LDCC Centre, and the one at Miriamvale, as Mark has just referred to, came out of the Black Summer Bushfire Recovery Grants program relevant to the Deepwater bushfires in 2018, as we would all remember, and the 2019 Mount Moriah bushfires. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Churchill. Councillor O'Grady.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So on this Sunday coming, the Port Curtis Division of QCDWA have got their Sit Less, Move More walk on down at Millennium Esplanade, so that's this Sunday. I know it's been closed off, but I think if you message them today, you'd be able to get in and nominate to do that. So there's a few different walks. There's a 2K, a 5K, 7K and a 12K walk. So meeting at the the stage down there at Millennium Esplanade. So that's this Sunday, the 11th. Also, Mount Larkham Showball is coming up, so is on the 17th of June. So that's before our next council meeting. So it's only $10 to get in, and then it starts at 7 p.m. and it's all for the whole family. So they've made it affordable so mum and dad and the kids can all go to the show ball, so which is fantastic. And then there's winners from there actually go to the show, which the show will be on Mount Larkham Show, the 24th and 25th of May, and with their sashes on and go on the grand parade and whatever else representing the community. So I'm looking forward to those events. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Grady. Councillor Goodluck.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll just mention it was great to attend the opening of Powerlink's interim facility here, Powerlink being the state entity that controls all the poles and wires, transmission infrastructure across Queensland. Traditionally, we've only ever had a presence in Brisbane, but they've just opened a facility in Gladstone. They're looking to I believe, submit a development application which will go through all the usual processes to build a state-of-the-art facility in Gladstone, which will be the Powerlink Supergrid Transmission and Training Hub. So this will be a facility that provides training opportunities to all the trades, engineering, even IT, all the professions that go along with the transmission infrastructure that we're going to need. And obviously we all know Gladstone's the energy capital of the nation, as we proudly claim ourselves, being the industrial capital of the nation. So it's really fitting that we've got a presence from Powerlink here in Gladstone, and we welcome them to our community, and we look forward to the opportunities that this is going to provide, not only to our community, but also to assist us in the transition that we're experiencing, as you mentioned before. And it was really great to talk to Gary Edwards, who's the Chief Operating Officer, and hear him talk about the importance of having a presence in communities, the importance of learning from the way we've done things in the past and smoothing out those boom-bust cycles, and really touching on a lot of themes that are touched on in our economic transition roadmap. So it was really pleasing to hear the Chief Operating Officer of Powerlink touch on some of those things. So it gives me confidence that we will have the insight to manage this transition more appropriately and more beneficially for our community moving forward. So great to be there, and look forward to seeing that project progress over the coming months and years. Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what our roadmap is all about. They're going to be training the next generation of apprentices and trainees right here in Gladstone, and also somewhere up north around Townsville, but right here in Gladstone, very important that they'll be training them here. That's really good. And
I should mention too, I think the Queensland Energy Jobs Plan did commit $45 million to that facility, and no doubt many more tens of millions from Powerlink themselves. So this is going to be a really, really state-of-the-art facility, and it's great to see that investment in our community from the Queensland Government as well.
Fantastic, Councillor Goodluck. Any further council reports? I would like to mention that we're in the middle of Pride Week right now. It began on the 2nd at the Gladstone Cinemas, part of the Pride Festival. It was a movie night, and of course that continues with events throughout the week and wraps up on Saturday with the fair day at the GPC Marina Parklands. And that's got food stalls, market stalls, live entertainment games. So that's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the GPC Marina Parklands as part of the Pride Festival. No further councillor reports? Thank you. We'll move back to the confirmation of the minutes, G2.1, which was moved by Councillor Churchill, seconded by Councillor Cameron. There was a correction to the minutes. If we could hand over to the CEO, please.
Thank you. Pardon me. Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just while Rachel's bringing that up, councillors will recall during the meeting, pardon me, that the General Manager provided clarification of some of the information that was included in your report in relation to how GAPDL expended council funding. So we're just proposing an amendment to the minutes to capture that clarification. So to read that the minutes for the General Meeting of 16th of May 2023 be amended at agenda item 4.6, Community Investment Program funding applications, to include a clarification that Gladstone Area Promotion Development Limited is utilising council funding for its intended purpose.
Thank you, CEO. And that was, as you said, clarified by the General Manager at the meeting as well. So just to be sure, Councillor Mussack, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to know, we excluded from voting. I did declare a conflict.
You did too.
You can vote on minutes. It doesn't preclude you from voting.
Just abstain. Yep, no problem at all. Councillors, you were all in the meeting. You're happy with that being part of what was true and correct part of that meeting?
As the mover, happy to accept it.
Thank you. Councillor Cameron? Thank you. No further discussion. I'll put the motion now as the minutes being amended as per on the screen. All in favour? That motion is carried. Thank you, Rachel. We'll move to the next item on the agenda. There's no urgent business, there's no notices of motion, no confidential items. Declare the meeting closed at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.